Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be providing an update on my favorite crypto mining company in the entire market right now, Hut 8 Mining. They just came out with a production update for the month of January. In addition to that, I'm going to give you my top 4 reasons why I'm so bullish on Hut 8 Mining and why I personally prefer this play over any of the other crypto miners in the space. Now before we get into today's video, please take a second, you guys, hit the like button. It's a huge help to myself and the channel. It helps get this content to other people like you who may find value. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below what you think of the current pullback we've seen in Bitcoin pricing, if you're buying any crypto mining stocks, and how you think Hut 8 Mining stacks up to some of the competition. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, super exciting one for you. I'm going to be providing an update on probably my top stock in the entire market right now, Hut 8 Mining. They just came out with their January production update. I love the fact that these mining companies are putting out monthly production updates. It's something I look forward to each and every month. In addition to that, in today's video, I'm going to go into why I'm so bullish on Hut 8 compared to some of the other crypto miners we've talked about on the channel, and walk you guys through a few data points that really support my bullish thesis. Now we've seen Bitcoin prices all over the map here to start off 2022. I think this is a temporary buying opportunity here, you guys. I've been aggressively adding to my position in both Hut 8 Mining and Bitfarms in the form of long expiration, so January 2024 call options, and I think this strategy is going to pay off in a big way. Now as you can see here, before we get into the video, I've got a new logo for the channel pulled up, McNallie Money, Stocks, Investments, Personal Finance. So in the comment section below, you guys, let me know what you think of my new logo here. I'm super excited about it. First time using Fiverr, and I think it really came out very nicely. Now with that being said, we're going to jump into the production update. Interesting fact here that I didn't know about Hut 8 Mining in terms of where the company actually got its name here. Hut 8 was actually the name of the building at Bletchley Park where Alan Turing actually cracked the Enigma code in World War II. So Turing's world-changing work in Hut 8 is actually what saved countless lives and transformed cryptography as we know it, and essentially was a major factor in ending World War II and the Nazi domination. His advances in code breaking laid the foundation for blockchain as it stands today. So this was a super interesting fact, again, based on the historical significance of this building or Hut 8 and the implications on blockchain in today's society. So I wanted to throw that in today's presentation as an interesting fact because again, this was news to me. Now with that being said, we're going to jump into the January production update. You can see Hut 8 Mining now is nearing in on 6,000 self-mined Bitcoin in reserve. They have 5,826 Bitcoin held in their reserve as of January 31st, 2022, along with a production update. So we've actually seen the average Bitcoin per day increase. We're now sitting at 9.93 Bitcoin per day. So if we multiply that out by $38,000 US, which was the average we used in some of the other presentations on the channel recently for the month of January, you're getting a daily production volume of about $377,000 US. Keep in mind, you guys, the gross margins on this are in excess of 90%. So the amount of money these companies are producing truly is mind-blowing. If you multiply that out by the number of days in the month of January, so 31 days, you come out with a grand total of $11.7 million of mining activity in the month of January alone. So absolutely mind-blowing numbers, especially considering the fact you're able to get shares of Hut 8 Mining right now for around $8 to $8.50 Canadian, which is actually where this company was trading back in February of 2021. So that's mind-blowing to me to think the amount of progression this company's made over the last few quarters and the fact that you're able to pick up shares right now for under $10 Canadian. Now, a couple other bullet points on this production update worth mentioning. 100% of the self-mined Bitcoin for the month of January were deposited into custody into Hut 8's reserve. This is consistent with their hold on for dear life or HODL strategy. This is something we've seen month after month here, you guys. 100% of activity or mining activity is put directly into the reserve. And that really speaks to the leadership team's cash management and the fact that they're able to run a very lean business and not have to rely on selling Bitcoin each and every month to fund their operations. And the second point here is a big factor there. So you can actually see 16% of the Bitcoin production was from the company's fleet of GPU, so graphics processing unit miners, that they're actually using to mine Ethereum. So what they do is they mine Ethereum, they immediately convert it into Bitcoin. But the nice thing about this is the GPUs actually use minimal power compared to traditional mining computers. And that's resulting in an average cost per Bitcoin of $2,600 Canadian. And this is by far the cheapest input costs or overhead costs I've seen of any miner we've reviewed on the channel. And that's exactly why they don't have to sell Bitcoin each month to fund their operations. So this is probably, in my opinion, in addition to their geographic location, which we're going to talk about later in the presentation, one of the reasons I'm most bullish on Hut 8, and I really prefer this company over any of the other miners we've talked about on the channel because of those extremely low production costs. Now, as mentioned in the intro, total Bitcoin balance is now nearing in on 6,000 Bitcoin. So again, if we multiply that out, 5,826 Bitcoin times $38,000 US, you're looking at a total reserve value of about $221 million US. If you multiply that by 1.23, you're looking at about $272 million Canadian. And based on the recent pullback in share price we've seen, the market cap on Hut 8 is now sitting around 1.5 billion Canadian. So almost a fifth or 20% of this company's market cap is actually sitting in Bitcoin in their reserve, which is absolutely mind-blowing, especially considering the major drop we've seen in the price of Bitcoin since the month of November. So as a reminder, in the month of November, we saw Bitcoin touch $68,000 US. So again, if you multiply that number out, you guys, 68,000 US times 5,826 Bitcoin, you're looking at $396 million US, or about $487 million Canadian. And that's based on the highs that we've already seen this year, not to mention the future growth potential of Bitcoin down the road. Now, their current installed operating capacity is sitting at 2.36 exahash per second, which is a 17% increase from December, so only a month ago, and really does put them in line with the likes of Bitfarms, which we just talked about on the channel in our last video. And during the month of January, Hut 8, or the company, installed 6,300 MicroBT and M31S mining units, and in the process actually retired their older fleet, which were model Bitfury Clarks. So the company is continually upgrading their fleet here, you guys, and that's what's leading to those increasing hash rates that we're seeing month over month. Now, in addition to that, they've also provided an update on the development of the company's third data center, which is located in North Bay, Ontario, so another Canadian location. This is going to be their third site. The building structure is now complete. Floors are being poured immediately, and racking is expected to commence later in February of this year. So across the board here, you guys, Hut 8 Mining is delivering on a very high level. And again, this is one of the reasons I'm so excited about purchasing these call options right now, because I think the leadership team here really does have it figured out. Not to mention the benefits of their recent data center acquisition, which we covered in our last video. And overall, I think Hut 8 Mining is setting up for a fantastic 2022. Now, in the intro, I mentioned I was going to go over some of the bullish data points that support my opinion on Hut 8 Mining. So I wanted to jump over to the investor presentation. This has been updated since the last time we ran through this, and give a quick update on the company and talk about some of the reasons I feel Hut 8 Mining has done a really good job of differentiating themselves from some of the other players in this space. So in terms of company overview, I just mentioned there's 3 mining sites. 2 are located here in Alberta, so my home province, Medicine Hat and Drumheller. The third is North Bay, Ontario, which was the site we just gave that construction update on. Now, in terms of year-to-date numbers here, total revenue is up 318%. Mining revenue is up 303%. Net income is up 564%. And the increase in total assets here is up a mind-blowing 802%. So the company is definitely delivering or executing at a very high level. Now, by the numbers, you can see slightly outdated here, in excess of 5,800 self-mined Bitcoin. They're expected to be up to 3.35 exahash by the end of Q1, so virtually the exact same computing potential as we saw with Bitfarms. And in addition to that, they've also got their Ethereum mining potential or hash rate. Now, in terms of one of the reasons I really like this business model, they've got diversified revenue streams. So they've got their self-mining operations, which are very robust and growing quarter over quarter, which we just talked about. They've got white label hosting, and they've got yield and revenue opportunities based on their Bitcoin reserve. Now, in addition to that, this is a licensed repair facility for mining computers, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. Now, obviously, the addition of all these new computing units, upgrading their fleet, really does boil down to greater ability to mine Bitcoin, and that's exactly what you see in this chart here. So this is one of the main reasons I'm so excited about this company, is just the growth in hash rate and computing power. And a nice little call out here on the left, Hut 8 Mining now owns more self-mined Bitcoin than any other publicly traded company in the entire world. Now, in terms of their Bitcoin holdings, you can see from Q1 2018, they were sitting just under 900 self-mined Bitcoin. Q1 of 2019, they were up to 2,600. Q1 of 2020, just under 3,000 Bitcoin in their reserve. Q1 of 2021, they were up to 3,300 Bitcoin. And now December of 2021 here, in excess of 5,500 Bitcoin. And based on that January production update, we know that number is now sitting at 5,826 Bitcoin in their possession or reserve. So number one thing I love about Hut 8 Mining is their Bitcoin mining potential, the number of Bitcoin they hold in reserve, and the growth rates we've seen quarter over quarter for the last few years. Now, the second big thing I love about Hut 8 Mining is really the location in which this company is located. So you can see here two locations, both in Canada, Alberta and North Bay, Ontario. Now, for those of you who don't know, Alberta is a very business-friendly jurisdiction. They have very minimal taxes here, you guys, very minimal government involvement compared to other provinces in Canada. And because of all the benefits the oil and gas industry has provided for the province of Alberta, they're very open to business development in this province. Now, in addition to that, we've got cold temperatures here, so most people actually see that as an issue. But if you're in the Bitcoin mining industry, freezing temperatures and high winds are actually optimal for crypto mining. It reduces the amount of energy you need to spend on cooling or HVAC systems, and there's widely available real estate for new facility development. Now, North Bay, Ontario, so their new site, very similar in the sense that there's access to cheap electricity or input costs. Again, cold Canadian climate, and they've actually got an abundance of green energy, which was one of the major problems or criticisms we've seen with the Bitcoin mining industry overall. So things like steam, hydrogen, and natural gas powered electricity, secondary geothermal systems, which are tied in to the data center facility to give them that redundancy. So that's reason number two here, you guys, is location, location, location. Now, the third reason I'm so excited about Hut 8 Mining is really due to the various or diversified revenue streams. Now, we talked about three of the revenue streams a couple of slides ago. In addition to that, they're also now an authorized micro BT repair shop serving different customers across North America and Northern Europe. So what this actually does is a number of things for Hut 8 Mining. It gives them closer proximity to the supply chain of parts. They have easy access to replacement or fixed parts needed for their own in-house machines. They've got repairs on site, which reduces the downtime associated with repair of miners and transportation costs. They can support their own in-house machine repair while reducing e-waste associated with broken equipment. And it provides an additional form or stream of revenue for Hut 8 Mining with respect to both in and out of warranty repair services for these micro BT clients. So as a reminder, they've got their self-mining operations, which is really the bread and butter of this company. They've got white label hosting. They're getting yield or revenue on that robust Bitcoin reserve we just talked about. And now they've layered in repair revenue to support other mining facilities. So point number three really boils down to diversified revenue stream. And on top of all of that, they've now got that data center acquisition, which again, we discussed in our last Hut 8 Mining update. Now, the fourth reason I'm so bullish on Hut 8 Mining, and again, this is my standout pick in the crypto mining space, really has to do with analyst price targets moving forward. So you can see based on current share price here, you guys, whether you're looking at the high end or low end, we're looking at estimated returns anywhere from 95 to 155%. We've already seen Bitcoin crack $20 Canadian in the last couple of months. And I think it's definitely possible this company gets back to those 52-week highs within the next couple of quarters here if we start to see a reversal in the price of Bitcoin itself. And as mentioned in my previous video, I think this downturn in Bitcoin really has a lot to do with the market shakeup we're seeing. Investors are scared across the board. They're selling anything, whether it's equities, cryptocurrency, whatever the case. And it really goes against the underlying principle behind Bitcoin, which is to act as a hedge against inflation. Because as we all know, we're now seeing inflation levels the highest in the past 40 years. So I think people are going to start to pick up on this. They're going to start to relook at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency overall. And we're going to start to see the price of Bitcoin turn and really start to go up quite aggressively over the next couple of months. And with that being said, these price targets, in my opinion, definitely look reasonable, especially considering we've already seen these prices in the last couple of months. And what's even more astonishing here is if you scroll down to the actual revenue and earning per share estimates, analysts are expecting on average revenue growth of 240% in 2022, 736% in 23, and a mind-blowing 1990% revenue growth moving into 2024. So those numbers, you guys, are something you really don't see with a lot of companies. And that's why I'm so excited to be buying these January 2024 calls, because you start to see some of the numbers and the potential is really there to make a ton of money. And that's the exact same story with earning per share. So percentage change, again, on average, 2022, 101% increase. By 23, we're looking at 388% increase on earnings per share. And by 2024, just under 1100% average estimate earning per share growth. And obviously based on these numbers, you would expect buy recommendations, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So February 1st, there's currently 2 strong buys, 5 buys, 7 analysts covering this company, and all of them have either a buy or a strong buy rating. So for those reasons, you guys, I could not be more excited about Hut 8 mining and crypto miners in general right now. I think the pullback we're seeing is honestly one of the best buying opportunities I've had in my investment career, and I'm really trying to take advantage of this. Again, I'm not trying to overload my portfolio, but I'm definitely maxing out in terms of my exposure, and again, in the form of Hut 8 shares, Hut 8 call options, and calls on Bitfarms. And the play on Bitfarms is really to get some exposure outside of Canada. As we talked about in our last video, they have operations in the States and South America, so that's a little bit of a hedge in case something does happen here on the regulation side of things in Canada. So with that being said, that's it for today's video. January production update on Hut 8 mining. Blockbuster numbers across the board, in my opinion, a number of major bullish catalysts for this company moving forward, and my top 4 reasons why I like Hut 8 mining over and above any other crypto miner currently in this sector. Now, I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of my new logo. Let me know what you think of Hut 8 and on the price of Bitcoin moving forward. If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button. It really does help get this video to other people like yourself who may enjoy. If you're not subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And with that being said, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.